Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. Today is a very special day for me because I am celebrating my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. 1 year ago today, I put up my very first YouTube video, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different today to celebrate. Before I get into that though, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers. I think you guys are so awesome, and I'm so grateful for all of you, for all of your support and your kind words, and for sticking around with me. I feel truly, truly blessed to be part of this community. Okay, so for those of you that don't remember, this is the very first card that I created on my YouTube channel, and over the past year my style has changed quite a bit, so I thought it would be interesting to take this card design and recreate it today and see how it comes out. I'm going to be using this stamp set from Mama Elephant called Bookworm. I picked out a bunch of those images and put them in my Misti tool, and I stamped them onto Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock using my Gina K Amalgam ink. I'm going to be doing some pretty quick and simple Copic coloring on these images, and I do have the marker caps off to the side so that you can see the colors that I'm using. For each of the books, I decided to use 2 different markers for the blending, one lighter marker and one just a little bit darker for the shading. I started with the lighter marker and I filled in the whole book, and then I came in with my darker shade and I just added a little bit of it to the areas that I wanted a little bit darker. And then I came back in with the first marker again and I blended out that shading. I kind of wanted to do rainbow colors for the books, but not exactly. I tried to make them look a little bit more masculine because this is for a boy. I'm not saying that rainbows aren't masculine. I think that you can definitely have a masculine looking rainbow, but if you go for really pastel colors for your rainbow, it tends to look a little bit more feminine. So I kept my colors nice and bright and saturated, and I also decided to change up the blue color, and instead of blue I used a blue-green, and then I also left off the purple. Now you could totally use blue and that would still be masculine, but with my overall design, I thought the blue-green would look a little bit better. Now, if any of you actually saw my old video that I'm basing this one off of, that card was a Valentine that I created for my son. So I decided to make this one as a Valentine for my son as well. And my son is 10 now, so I wanted to make it in colors that would be appealing to him. This card was really refreshing to make. I've been doing a lot of Valentine's Day videos lately, and I was looking back on my videos and there is a lot of pink. So it was really nice to take a break from the pink and do a different kind of Valentine. Don't get me wrong, I love pink, obviously. I've been doing a lot of pink videos and it's because I love pink, but I also love all of the other colors, so it's nice to use them as well. I colored in the little bookworm using the same green colors that I used on the books, and then I moved on to coloring in that little dog. I think this little dog is adorable, and actually all of the animals in this stamp set are really cute, and I'm so glad that I was able to use this one again. This is a little bit of an older stamp set. I'm pretty sure I got it around fall, but I like to use older stamp sets. I think it's great to get as much use out of them as you can. Also, this stamp set is just absolutely perfect for this card design because I'm still following that same exact design where there's a bookmark with the card. And when I think bookmarks, this stamp set automatically comes to my head. And of course, whenever I use the Bookworm stamp set, I also pull out the Goodreads stamp set. I think that these two stamp sets were meant to go together. They just really complement one another. So I took a bunch of the book images from the Bookworm stamp set and all of the heart images from the Goodreads stamp set, and I put them into my Misti tool, and I'm going to be creating my own patterned background using those. I'm using Versamark ink for the stamping so that I just have a really light watermarked background. The cardstock that I'm using is Midnight cardstock from Brutus Monroe, which is a really nice deep navy color. For the stamping, I actually didn't move the stamps off of the Misti at all, and I just moved my paper instead. It makes it a lot easier to make a background like this. And you'll notice here that I do have that cardstock hanging off of the side of the Misti, and that's totally fine as long as your Misti door is clean. You won't have any issues. Next, I took that same color cardstock and I cut it into a bookmark shape using this die. That die comes from the BOOKMARK die set from Mama Elephant. I'm going to be using the same exact stamps that I was using before in order to create that same pattern on this bookmark. I wanted this bookmark to really match that background that I just created so that when I put them together, they kind of blend together. Once I finished using the Misti, I decided to fill in some of the empty spaces using a block. I just had to take a second to show you this block because it is so cute. It's from Pink and Maine and it has this kind of pink tint to it and I just love it. Anyways, I filled in a few of those empty spaces using one of the stamps, and then I took another stamp from the Goodreads stamp set and I stamped it onto some white cardstock with the Gina K Amalgam ink, and this stamp says this book belongs to, and then there's a blank spot where you can write your name. Next, I have this circle that I die cut out of white cardstock, and I'm stamping the row of books along the background using Simon Says Stamp Fog ink. I picked out a sentiment from the Goodreads stamp set which says, "No one stacks up to you," and I stamped that above that row of books. Okay, so now I'm going to be putting all of the pieces together, starting with the bookmark. First, I took that label which says this book belongs to, and I used my ATG gun in order to adhere it onto that bookmark. Next, I used my ATG gun in order to glue down that stack of books that I colored in right below that label. I left a little bit of room above those books so that I could place the bookworm, and I glued that bookworm down using Gina K Designs Connect Glue. I cut 3 strands of silver twine and I folded them in half and pushed the loop through the top of the bookmark, and then I took the other end and I pushed that through the loop in order to create my string on my bookmark. And I trimmed the ends of those strings so that they were all even. I took the circle that I created and I laid it down where I wanted to place it on my background, and then I took a pencil and I lightly traced around that circle. I then took my bookmark and I placed it on my card and I tried to line it up right in the middle of the card. I then took some foam tape and I placed it right up against the edge of that bookmark inside of those guidelines that I drew with my pencil. It's important that it stays inside of those guidelines so that none of the tape is showing when we put the card together. After I placed the first piece of foam tape, I did the same exact thing on the other side of the bookmark. I took the backing off of both of those pieces of foam tape, and then I took my circle and I placed it right on top and adhered it down to the card. Once that circle is on there, if you placed everything right, you should be able to slide that bookmark in and out really easily. I took those other books that I colored in and I glued them down onto that circle using some more Gina K Connect glue. I popped up the dog image using some foam tape right in front of those books. By the way, in case you were curious, I cut out all of the images that I colored in using my brother's Scan and Cut 2. I used a white gel pen in order to add some highlights to all of those images. I don't worry too much about my light source when I do this. I just try to keep it consistent throughout all of the images. So if I'm doing it on both sides, I'll do it on both sides throughout all of the images. If I'm doing it on one side, I'll keep it to that one side on all of the images. I also added a little bit of texture to the worm by adding some spots on his back. Next, I took these silver glossy hearts from Pink and Maine and I added one of those hearts right underneath the sentiment. Now, I could have been done right there, but I decided to add some color to the background. So first, I took my N0 marker and I just colored in all of those books that are in the back row of books. And then I took my N2 marker and I colored in the ground underneath the dog. And that finishes up this card and bookmark, and here you can see how that bookmark easily slides into place. I think this is a really fun card design that could be changed up in a lot of different ways. Thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed this card design and celebrating my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. This first year has been so wonderful, and I really can't wait to see what year 2 brings. If you're interested in any of the products that I used for today's card, I listed them all in the description down below. If this was your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to my channel. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my future videos. Again, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good day today.